What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to see you today on the SpeaknsEE show. I ask you to like, subscribe, click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information in. Are you down with PPP? Yeah, you know me. Down with EIDL loans, grants, and the new RRF program. What is going on right now in the Senate? Why haven't they voted on that bill? And if things could get better, would they get better? Because the Republicans just came out with a bill to reform the SBA. Is that going to help us? Is that going to hurt us? What's going on here? If you are a small business owner and you are interested in these subjects, like, subscribe, click that notification button so when I get the information out, you can get that fresh information. And I am here also getting grants out to those individuals who own small businesses and those who are looking for the loans and the PPPs and all that other fun stuff dealing with small businesses and the SBA. Guys, can somebody say hey? Also, we still want our 10K.
Yeah.
Somebody say hey, we want our 10K.
Yeah.
Hey, we want our 10K. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I want to thank you all once again for joining me here on the SpeaknsEE show. Joining us all here, all of you small business owners who probably know more about small business than I ever could or ever would. I am just here to try to help bring us all along, bring us together, and get those EIDL grants, EIDL loans, the PPPs, the RRFs, and all these things that go through the SBA and through Congress and through the Senate. We try to fill in the gaps and make sense of it all together and help them as well figure out what they need to do for us, because they have a hard time figuring things out if you haven't noticed. But the Republicans just put out a bill right now to reform the SBA, to make it a better place, to make it more sophisticated, more tied in, a tight in group, and we're going to figure out what they've done, because we know as long as the Republicans did it, it's going to be good, right? Well, as long as the politicians did it, as long as they had their hands in it, mommy and daddy are going to take care of the kids, right? They know better. They know better than all of us. Apparently, they know better than you and better than me. If you were a certain color or in a certain group or located in a certain area, you don't need the money. They know who to give it to. They're good like that. I mean, I should have said they're great at that, because I'm sure that nobody out there watching, I mean like you, could not have. You've already gotten your EIDL loan. You've already gotten your EIDL $10,000 grant that was promised to you. I'm sure you've already gotten your RRF. I'm sure that the PPP has been forgiven. I'm sure that all these things have been perfectly aligned, put in order, and you have gotten all that you were supposed to have received from the EIDL grants and the SBA, correct? Have they done a good job? Or do you think that a reform bill from a politician is going to help, or is it going to hold things back? What do you think? Personally, I don't know. It couldn't make it any worse, right? I guess let's go over it now and you can tell me what you think about it down below. Now, this article just came out on the smallbiztrends.com. It's written by Lisa Price, and I want to thank them for their input on this. It was a great article. You can receive a lot of great information from that website, smallbiztrends.com. Thanks once again. Republicans introduce a bill to reform the SBA. Republicans from the House Committee on Small Business recently introduced a bill called the Improve the SBA Small Business Administration Act. I've got this bill I'd like to introduce to improve the SBA. What should we call it? How about Improve the SBA? Very witty name. They cited fraud and mismanagement by the SBA as the reason. The SBA should not be involved in direct lending. Republicans on the committee agreed. The proposed legislation would increase oversight of the SBA and improve programs according to the language in the bill. GOP introduces Improve the SBA Act. The introduction of the Improve the SBA Act is largely saber-rattling by the Republicans. The House is Democrat-controlled, although the bill has zero chance of passing, and it's an indication of the direction Republicans could take if the party regained control of Congress after the November elections. So what they're saying is the Republicans are bringing a bill to the Democrats saying, there ain't no way you're going to sign it, but let's just waste a little time doing this before November when we get the House, and then we'll take it and we'll reintroduce it with some new text. I think we've all come to the place where we've seen so much time and effort being spent on things that cannot be done, or things that are going to be done that we don't agree with, that it's come to the point where now we're seeing politics play out as politics. It has nothing to do with the SBA or the people or the small businesses. It has a lot to do with the SBA because of all the money that they get, all these billions of dollars that now everybody has this big their binoculars on, saying the SBA gets trillions of dollars. Yeah, it's coming to fruition where the money isn't going where it's supposed to go, and the Republicans are trying to hold back as much as power as they can to regain control of this SBA while the inflation is going out the roof and while all these other problems, financial problems, are happening through and by the government, and partly due to the SBA and their mismanagement and mishandling of these funds. I mean, in honesty, is there any of us out there that can say, yes, the SBA has done a fantastic job in doing what they were supposed to do, doing their job. The politicians have done a great job keeping their word with all the programs that they promised Americans in that crazy time. But there's got to be some kind of control brought back. But is this it? Reaction from Independent Community Bankers of America. The reaction from the community bankers that just had all those trillions of dollars lended through the federal government. I'm sure the bankers are not going to be very happy with the SBA right now. They're probably like, we want to be able to lend the money. We want to be able to. In all honesty, they weren't really lending the money to everybody who needed it back then. It was hard to find a banker for the low-income communities and for those people out there that are below that level who just don't feel comfortable going to a bank. The banks, because the banks wouldn't make them comfortable, but now the banks are starting to shaking their boots a little bit over the federal government coming in and saying, yeah, we got this. Watch out, Bank of America. I think I might be going Fed. Direct lending is a poor and costly alternative to private sector lending and would reach fewer borrowers, said Paul Mursky, Group Executive Vice President of Independent Community Bankers of America. Well, we didn't think you were going to agree with it, Paul. You want the money. But will you give that person a loan who comes through your door? Today, there is a strong network of community banks, community development, financial institutions, and other lenders already in place to meet demand for small business borrowers. What's in the bill? Here are the key features of the Improve the SBA Act. This better be good. What's in the bill? What's in the bill? The SBA would no longer be a lender for disaster loans programs, such as the Paycheck Protection Plan, or the Economic Impact Disaster Loan, or the 7A Loan Program. Am I reading that right? Paycheck Protection Plan. I thought it was the Paycheck Protection Program. Is it something different? It's got to be in the text. Usually it's something different. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Or the Economic Impact Disaster Loan. Don't they mean Economic Injury Disaster Loan? It's in the text. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. 2, the SBA administrator would be required to testify before Congress annually or more frequently. When she decides to show up, right? That's usually the case. Hey, Janet Yellen, you coming over? Nah. Guzman, you gonna make it? You're supposed to testify today. Nah. Happens. The SBA would be held accountable for implementing recommendations made by auditors and inspector generals. Accountability in the SBA? Get back! Get back! Get back, you ugly Republicans! Get back! Government accountability. Since when does the government take accountability in anything that they've done wrong? We see inflation going out the roof. We see all these balloons popping across the United States in the financial industry that were made by government. All of these businesses that have been crushed underneath the government's feet because of government, the way they handled the Small Business Administration, the way they handled the economic injury disaster loans, the way they waited so long getting them out, the way they're handling the RRF loans, the way they're waiting so long getting them out, and who they're choosing and picking to get it to. Instead of us as the American people saying, oh wait, we can do this, just put the money in the bank. The Republicans are saying, put the money in the bank and insure us on it, and we'll take care of it. We have a better program. And the PPP was a much better run program than the EIDL loan program. We got to admit that. But would those banks that were out there that would get the money, would they be willing to loan funds to you the way the SBA did? We got to weigh it out. Forward in accountability. Certain businesses would be prohibited from getting access to the SBA funds. The banned businesses would include Planned Parenthood, businesses engaged in lobbying activities, and businesses owned by a Chinese entity or with a principal place of business located in China. Sorry, Hunter. I think Joe Biden would veto this one. Can't give it to the Chinese. Can't give it to Planned Parenthood. Can't give it to business lobbying. Can't give it to Planned Parenthood. Can't give it to lobbying? Can't give it to China? Oh, call Joe. Joe, get Hunter on the phone, hurry. Due to the pandemic, the SBA has been given an oversized role in management of emergency relief programs, Lukemeyer said as he introduced the bill in the House Committee on Small Businesses. Through oversight, we have discovered that the Small Business Administration is fraught with fraud, delays, and mismanagement. I don't like where this is going when he says that, because we saw months and months of procrastination in the Small Business Committee distributing loans to people while they were going over the fraud and this and that in the SBA, which got nowhere, but it just held back the money for a long period of time while small businesses were suffering through all this pandemic. And this was during crunch time of it all too. So when he says it's fraught with fraud and mismanagement, I think more of fraud and mismanagement is inside the system than outside the system, because these are big numbers we're throwing around, and they just throw these numbers out there like they'll throw an extra billion on top of something, like, where did you get that extra billion? And that's 1,000 million. Where did you get that money? Why did you come up with that number? I really believe that the fraud and mismanagement needs to be looked at inside of the system of the SBA, as opposed to just outside the system, saying that it was small businesses and hackers and stuff like that got into it. I think there was a lot of it. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that it was the people on the inside, the people on the outside, or 50-50 even? But I don't believe that it was just the outside businesses that were doing this, and I don't think most of small businesses and those of you who have been through this believe that either. But let me know what you think down below. Office of Inspector General report cites issues with idle monies. Issues with idle monies? No way. In a report issued last week, the OIG said the SBA didn't follow proper procedures while managing economic impact disaster loan funds during the pandemic. Specifically, the contractor awarded the idle contract in 2018 RER met the contract required small business size standard, no more than $15 million in annual revenue, but its subcontractor Rocket Loans did not. The OIG also said that SBA did not use procedures to ensure contracting officers used effective proposal analysis techniques to ensure prices were fair and reasonable. Such procedures are required as part of the federal acquisition regulation. RER was chosen from 10 applicants and awarded the contract with a cap of $100 million. After the CARES Act passed, the SBA increased RER's contract cap to $850 million. Idle program implementation issues cited by the OIG. Oh wait, there's more. RER subcontracted with Rocket Loans Marketplace LLC DBA Rocket Loans. Rocket Loans is an affiliate of Rock Holdings and Quicken Loans, one of the nation's largest mortgage lenders. So this money was not just being issued to small businesses. These are very large companies that were also be given SBA money when they were supposed to go into a different category to receive funds from the federal government, but they went to the Small Business Administration instead. Yes, that's kind of fraudulent to me. And as far as them getting, say, $100 million, if that was the case, if they got $100 million, how many other small hackers and fraud cases would there have to be to get up to $100 million? So it's those bigger companies, and I feel like it's inside the SBA, this is what I'm talking about, where it's inside the SBA that this mismanagement and fraud has been taking place, more so than just small businesses out there that didn't really put their right numbers in. When RER relied on Rocket to perform contract requirements, that relationship defined them as affiliates, and Rocket is too big to meet small business size requirements specified in the 2018 contract. As a result, RER and Rocket Loans circumvented the subcontracting rule, which was established to prevent a larger business from using a small business as a pass-through to profit from set-aside contracts meant to support diverse small business enterprises, the OIG concluded. As a result, RER, Rocket Loans, circumvented the subcontracting rule, which was established to prevent a larger business from using a small business as a pass-through to profit from set-aside contracts meant to support diverse small business enterprise, the OIG concluded. And that's what we have today. That's what we're looking at today as far as what this new public reform, the SBA bill, means. It means going after these players, these what they call bad actors. I call these people good actors. I've heard a lot of the Democrats use the word, we're going after the bad actors here. We're going after the bad actors. But the bad actors are the ones that didn't get the money. The bad actors are the ones that tried getting money but couldn't. Those are the bad actors. The good actors are the ones that went out and got paid a lot of money that shouldn't have gotten anything at all. So I think that they're misphrasing their terminology on who are the good actors and who are the bad actors. I believe the bad actors are the politicians and the large companies that are just out there, give me your money, taking your money and get a loan, pushing you aside, saying, oh, bad actors, give me a break. When can we all just realize what's going on here with the SBA? Too much money has been going into the SBA. I'm not talking about the RRF. I think that money should have already been there, and it should continue to go through for those restaurants that didn't get their money. They need to get that money because, and as well as the money that was promised to the small businesses in the CARE Act, which we're going to continue fighting for as well. So I just think that what we're seeing here today with this demonstration with the Republicans saying we want to come and reform the SBA, they're trying to take back the SBA's power to delivering such substantial amounts of money, and I don't think it's such a bad idea. It could be a good idea if it's used in the right way to get the money into banks' hands that are going to really, yes, take care of those small businesses that they normally wouldn't have even looked at before the pandemic. To say, yeah, we can give you a loan, or wouldn't have even set you down, had a seat at the table to set you down, saying, yes, we'll help you get these loans. We will work with you to get these. It doesn't look great on paper here, we get it, but we're going to be insured by the federal institutions, and yes, you can receive your loans through us, instead of having the SBA saying yes or no, because their management was horrible. I don't think anybody, I haven't heard a huge review saying, oh, the SBA they just did everything just so smoothly and accurately. They were building a plane while it was in air in the beginning, but that plane really has still never learned how to fly. And they've had plenty of time to do it, and now it's being used more of a political grab for money and for special interest groups and for votes. And that's what the SBA was never intended to be. I don't know, that's just what I think, but let me know how you feel about it, and if you don't feel the same way as I do, I get it. That's okay. It's okay to disagree. We can agree to disagree. We can be happily incompatible together. But I would still fight for you. I will still try to encourage you and lift your businesses up out there and help find you some grants. Still fight for that EIDL grant for you, no matter if you disagree or agree. But this is how we find a place that we can meet and disagree on things, as well as help each other out in the small business area. We don't always have to agree on everything, and we try to not agree on everything. That way it's more fun and it's more open, and that's why we have more transparency to meet with each other and to feed our information to those others out there that are in need, that we can be transparent about and help them in a way that's just not one-sided this way or one-sided that way, because that's when things start getting wishy-washy, is when it's either left or right. I think we can find common ground here in the middle with the SBA and help them and move them forward to help you as a small business owner. So let me know what you guys think about what's going on right there with the SBA reform. Will it just hold back more Senate time with getting the RRF bill out there, or should we go ahead and just put back this bill, don't even bring it to the floor, bring S513 to the floor and get the $10,000 EIDL grants out there instead? What do you think? Or bring the RRF program out there and get those billions and billions of dollars that their small businesses and restaurants and the revitalization fund put out there as well, since that seems to be really ready for the floor. And I don't know, guys, once again, hopefully this information was encouraging, hopefully it helped, and hopefully you guys can help each other. Comments down below, like, subscribe, notification, hit that button so when I get this information out, you can get it in, and somebody say, hey, we still want our 10K.
Yeah.